we'd go to bed in my arms. You're safe and sound without a threat, and I can't wait to see what happens next. How far can we get if we sail a little bit high, a little bit low? How far can we get if we sail a little bit high, a little bit low? We're still a little bit young, but I'm all in. We're still a little bit dumb, but I'm all in. We're still a little bit young, but I'm all in. We're still a little bit dumb, but I'm all in. If we sail a little bit high, a little bit low, a little bit high, a little bit low, a little bit high, a little bit low, a little bit high, a little bit low. I don't know any roads that lead us back home, and I don't know any roads that lead us back home. How far can we get if we sail a little bit high, a little bit low? I need us to be a little bit high, a little bit low, completely alone.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Hyden. Let's get started. I'm going to open up Unity. On today's docket, we're basically going to work on the swimming system and hopefully get that done really quickly so that we can move on to the combat for the 3D platformer. I also noticed it says YouTube/E3. Does that mean E3 is going on right now? I didn't even realize this was happening. Let me just check this. Well, the content it does to me. Super checked one. Where did the E3 thing just go? What the E3. Sunday. Wait, it started on Sunday? Oh, didn't even realize. That's cool. Alright. Did Unity open? Yes, it did. Just open on the wrong. Okay. So, let me move the player to the beginning, and I'll show what we have so far. You can see I put a bunch of coins everywhere. It's because I made a prefab, so I decided just to place it around. Okay, so I fixed a few problems with the game. I'm gonna actually pause this for a second. Just get rid of this debug so it doesn't constantly appear. And also, I'll make a full screen for you guys. Alright, now let's go back here, double click. I'm actually just going to comment it out. I kind of like that debug, but I just don't need it right now. And game. Unreachable code detected. That's never fun to see. Backspace and play. So we just started 6 minutes ago. I feel like the music's too loud. I can't even hear my own voice. Open volume mixer. That's a little bit better. Okay. So I fixed a couple bugs yesterday, and that's all I managed to do. First was the camera. It was clipping through objects. Oh, it just did it there still. Huh. That's interesting. Just from that one angle, it'll clip. But you can see how it clipped there. Basically, it's because... Oh, the farther away it is, the higher chances of clipping. Is that what's happening? Yeah, but if I was closer to begin with... I wonder, before I explain what happened, let me just check one last thing. Because I toggled this at the end. What if I just set this back to being 60? So it'll still happen from that angle. No, see, now it can't. Oh, yeah, it can. Look at that. What do you know? I still haven't fully fixed clipping. This is like the most disappointing thing you could see as a developer when you spend all day trying to fix a problem. You think you fixed it, and then the next day you just get absolutely shit on. My solution is pretty simple. Let's see, maybe that's why it didn't work, but I'm going to try changing one last number, and then I'll explain what we've done. So, where is the free camera rig? Protect from wall clip script. I don't actually understand what you said. I'm just gonna say K. It's a lot of K's. Let's put this to be 7.5. Why would it happen from that one angle? It was only from that weird angle, right? Like from here it works perfectly, but from right here it clips. Oh, and just barely now. Oh, there we go. It clipped. Alright, let's make it a 1. Basically, I'm just setting an offset to where the camera should move if it detects that it's hit a wall. And I'm saying it should actually just move 1 inward. So, like now it's going to move right through our player, slightly in front of him. Yeah, so it looks like that worked. I don't see any more clipping happening. Let's go higher up. It was only when we were... Ah, fuck it. Garbage ass. Piece of shit camera. That really bothers me. Maybe we can just increase the clip time. I'm so angry. I was hoping to be done with this camera bullshit. Look, it's still happening. But only from this weird angle. Like, if I go from here, it won't clip. So what's happening here actually is that we have a pivot the pivot is shooting out a ray to where we want to move the camera, and if it hits something, then we tell the camera, oh, wait, I know what value that is then. It's this, the cast radius. That's determining how wide off we should be, so there we go, that's what I need to increase. Nope, still problematic. But it looks like it's a little higher up now, right? Like it's not happening. This really bothers me. Oh my god. Why? Okay. Let's look at it. So if we look, we have this pivot, and the pivot seems to think, oh, what if we, where's my camera? Can you go any smaller than that for a near clip plane though? You can't. Deshaun saying, could you make double-sided walls wherever there's a clipping problem? I wouldn't want to do that because that's the entire game. There'd be a clipping problem whenever there's a wall that's this high. What if it's this near clip plane? If you look, it's going just slightly in the wall, halfway in, halfway out, because for some reason my offset here didn't work, and that's because this isn't actually where this should be, but for some reason putting it here worked. So what's happening here is we're taking all of the hits, then we're finding the closest one, and we're setting the target distance to be the inverse transform point of our start point. But it wouldn't just be a wall, it'd be any object, really. Any object that we go up to. So let me just quickly explain how this does work, and we can try to solve the problem together, maybe. So Wander's saying, can you strike the camera for getting that close to the wall? So there is a solution that I can do that I don't really like, and that's simply just, if I had this object, excuse me, I got a cough. Okay, the solution I don't like is I could just make the colliders slightly off of the wall. So I think that did it. So if I were to go back to game, there's some pause, you'll see now it'll never clip, right? And that's like the only other option really. But then I need to do that with the floor. See how it clipped? Oh, it still does clip. Look at that. Everything is still clipping. Jason Carey saying, are you using the standard asset from Unity to prevent wall clipping? I am using the standard asset. It just never ever seemed to work for me nicely. Like ever. I don't know why. I could reset its values. Yeah, I'll make this one. So here it shouldn't clip. Oh, it still did. Yeah, and it's still going to clip here too. I found when I did have it set to the original values that this was, it wasn't really a big issue. Now I wonder if this is just also because it's not a fixed update. My character won't move nicely now, but no, still an issue. Okay, let's open up the other project. Not the other project, but my blank one. I was going to do a water tutorial, so I just threw it in there. I'm going to copy the values, put it in here, and see if we get a problem. I just find that camera moves way too goddamn slow. Okay, Freelook Cam. I'm just going to copy this real quick. So print screen, open project, platformer, we have paint open. But basically what's happening is we have our camera target here with its pivot point. And say this is the wall. It's going to shoot out, whoop, and then it says, okay, this is where our wall is, so let's put our camera there. And then we're going to make it face the inverse transform direction over the line is. So it's going to face this way. But the problem is that the actual box of the camera is slightly like this, so part of it clips through still. And I just need to figure out a good way to move it up here. And I think I just figured it out. It's this plus sphere cast radius. Visualize the camera. Okay, wait, no. Hit something, smooth the camera to a better position. Smooth damping, current position, target distance. I don't know what mathif.smooth clamp means. Or smooth damp, sorry. So we want to go from the current to the target with its velocity and its smooth time. But we have a ternary operator here. Enlarge your sphere. So are you saying it should be even larger than a radius of 1? That seems... See, now it's even worse. Now it goes through so much farther. So it's like a sphere cast radius, the smaller it is, the better it works. Right, so if I even did like 0.1. Oh. 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 What do you know? Oh, it's still clipped a bit. Let's... I think I fixed it. Weird. Why does that work? Why would a smaller sphere cast radius solve my issues? Jason, you're actually very useful in these streams. You help me solve all my problems. It's great. But why does a smaller sphere cast radius... Oh, it's still clipped. I saw the clipping. Let's make it even smaller then. Why does that stop clipping? Why does that work? The smaller the radius... Okay. As long as it works, it doesn't matter. That's true. Okay. So, that works. So this... Okay. That's absolutely bizarre to me. As you can see, the camera does follow with a nice delay, but it's still quick to turn. So it's not... It's like, I really like how the camera works now. I've given the scene a blue fog also, just because I find that a little bit more realistic in games. Also, when we're underwater, we're going to just increase that to be really, really foggy, so it looks like underwater. See, I put a lot of coins in here. That's a moving power up. Yeah, I'm happy that that worked. That we solved our camera clip. So I'm going to just... what if I can set this back to 0.5? No, see, then we'll still see clipping. Okay. So, whoops. So this was just 0.01. For some reason, that worked. Alright. The next thing I fixed was an interesting little problem that I had in my code, and I didn't notice that it was a problem. Basically, my input with the joystick, if I'm moving... I don't have my camera plugged in, but pretend you're using a joystick, you're pulling forward, we move a value of 1. Super N64. Maybe. But if you moved on an angle, it would move... it would still be moving all at the same rate with the joystick. Let's just say that. So the X and the Y values were constantly the same, so you don't move faster on an angle, right? However, with WASD keys, if you held down W and D, you were actually moving faster. Which was kind of a shame. So I had to normalize that value out, which is pretty simple. I did it in kind of a silly way though. So if we look, excuse me, we're going to take the move inputs of Y and the X to get our X and our Z. That makes any sense? Like this is a... can I do a V, I guess? That's not really a good interpretation of a down arrow. But anyways, this is actually our X. This is our Y. And this is our Z value, right? So I used a vector 2 to store our X and Y. Malachi saying, do you remember the game idea that I sent you? I'm not sure. Which one was it? But essentially, we can scroll up and you'll notice... I created our vector 2 of forward and horizontal, and then I just normalized them, and that fixes our speed problem. And it literally took me all day to figure out those two problems. So, oh my god, come on. I saw a clip there. We all saw a clip there. What if I did 0, 1? Okay, I think it was... Okay, I'm going to add a 0 before I forget. Boom. So yeah, now we can move around, we can jump, we can go over to this orange object, which is something we can hang off of. It's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be to use the WASD keys for it, but if you had a joystick, it works super, super well. So I can just fall. I can also jump up here and grab on. So basically, if you were to jump up and hold forward, you don't go that far and you don't go that fast, but you could jump away from the wall and do a double jump and you go twice as far. I think that's just a gamey thing and I kind of like it, so I decided to keep it. Now, when you get in the water, you notice our camera goes down. So watch when I jump up. Our camera jumps up. I thought that was just kind of a nice little effect to illustrate that you're in water and you're not in water. Right? Just a nice little camera thing. And how I did it was pretty simple. If we look at our pivot, I created a pivot script for our pivot. And currently it's set to Y. When we jump in here, it just lerps to 0. Then we jump out, it lerps back to 3. Originally I only did this because I was trying to stop the clipping. Because if our pivot was higher and we hit something like this, we'd have an issue. But now it's not even an issue anymore. So it's kind of funny that that was the thing and ended up creating a really nice effect. But yeah. So the next thing we're going to do is actually rotate our player. I'm not sure how I want to do this. I've never really done something like this. We need to make it so our player is like this in the world, but our gravity needs to still be applied correctly. So what I could maybe do is increase the radius of this, but reduce the height. No, because then it still stays this big, eh? I don't want the hitbox to change size. I just wanted it to rotate nicely. So if I did rotate our player like so, you're going to notice some interesting effects when I unpause. Our gravity direction has now changed. So sinking upwards is actually this way. Hyden, after the stream, I have to run something through you if that's okay. Yeah, for sure. And left and right actually lead us this way now. So it didn't really work how we wanted it to. It's kind of inverted and it doesn't fall the right way. So I'm not really sure how I want to handle... Now, Ohira is saying just rotate the mesh. So, good. This was the second point I was going to make. The next option was to just rotate this guy. Like so. That didn't rotate nicely. Is it this? No, it's not this value. I don't know if this is the front. I could be completely goofing. Is it that way? No, I don't know. I know what I'll do. So I know which way the front is. Okay. He's now facing this way, which is forward. So my mesh here is going to need a 90-degree rotation. Okay. So I could do something like this, where we actually rotate the mesh to make it look like he's swimming, right? Just put him on an angle. Whoop. Whoop. And jump on up. So it's just this. I'm just running to go to the water real quick. Just so we can see the wings. Alright. So it sort of feels like this, and then whenever you press, we can just rotate him down a bit, and then he rotates back up. Rotate down, rotate back up. And it would just be another lerp effect. That part's easy. But the problem I have with this now, if we look, is our collision detection is no longer accurate to our player. So I would have to lower this down, but if I increase this, it makes it overall bigger, right? So this character controller, its hitbox changes, right? And I don't like that. Because then the player doesn't really know when they're in danger, right? could give this a capsule collider. If this had a capsule collider, then it doesn't matter so much. I could just shrink this down, and that's no longer an issue. But then they're not hitting the player. If I just shrunk this down, and we gave this guy a capsule collider, this water flow checker can be deleted. We don't need that anymore. That's something else. Use 2 colliders, enable and disable them. Says Mr. K. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, but I'd have to put the collider on I wouldn't have to put the collider here. I could put it on here and just rotate it perfectly as well when I rotate the player. But that's kind of a lot of work. Let's think. What am I going to interact with in the water? What would we have? We'd obviously want to avoid like spikes or something below the player. And this is take player mesh. So, okay. What we're going to need to do then is, for any water creature or water damageable thing, we're going to check if it's collided with this. So what we're going to say is, when we collide with player mesh, that means so I haven't done any actual hit detection stuff just yet. So I'm thinking the way I made it so we hurt the enemy, which I have to change, was using a ray cast below us, below our guy's feet. Could this work? We just have it so all of our water objects, their logic is going to be on if we interact with the player mesh. I'm going to be streaming until probably another hour actually. It is time for a quick round of ad roulette, so I'm going to play it. Okay, good. I do have to go rock climbing, and then probably going to code for the rest of the night when I get home. I'm doing a lot of thinking here, not really getting much done. I guess it really depends on how we're going to code the enemy, right? So this guy right now, he has a character controller, a box collider, a sphere collider. You have a lot of things on you, eh? Biz trigger, AI chaser, damage taken from the following. I use OBS for streaming. But here's saying if you put a separate hitbox on a different layer, you can let enemies ignore the player collider and only hit the player's hitbox. Okay. So before we continue, this character doesn't actually have a collider, he has a character controller, which I don't really understand. I've never done research on how that really works, if it counts as a collider or not. I just put this capsule collider on him. Is this on the character or it's on the player, so I don't need either of these. But I'm thinking, with my enemy right now, so the way he was working is we have a trigger zone, which is the circle. When you enter it, the schmoop, that's what the thing is, a schmoop. The mesh guy here decides to chase after you. He has a box collider on him, he has a character controller. And then the way we were hurting him was we were actually sending a ray cast down from our player's feet to say, hey, if we hit somebody, do something. I really don't know how I want to do this. I don't know how I want to proceed. Here, actually, a good test. Let's just see if this player moves around. Aha, okay. So we shrunk his one collider and we gave him a capsule collider. So if I unpause now, how does he interact in the world here? Can he like stick through? He sort of can, eh? No, not really. Oh yeah, he can stick through objects then. I don't think it's that big of an issue. Let's delete both of these. Okay. Having him rotate and then have this not match up. Oh, my capsule collider was a trigger? Oh, let's try that again then. Capsule collider. I just had it on there and I screwed up. Let's move this player closer so I don't have to do all this running constantly. Okay. Whoop. Press play. Alright. And then let's make the, excuse me, shrink this right down. So radius, really small. Something like this could work. Oh, I broke it. Oh, I broke it. Fun fact, you can't do that. Oh, okay, so you can't make the radius 0 else you break your game. Good to know. Okay, let's not break it this time. So, we're gonna set the height to be really... Yeah, see, he can stick through the ground then, even with a capsule collider on. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. What I could do is actually make the hitbox bigger when we enter water. As weird as that sounds. So we don't need, like, this, right? I'll have to remove it again afterwards, but whatever. We can just make it so the radius is wider. The height is as small as possible. So then while you're swimming, all of this is in danger to being hit. That would really bother me, though. That's why I have to rotate this. I don't know. It just seems like the easiest way would be to rotate the transform, but then I have to change the movement. No, that wouldn't be the easiest way at all. I don't know. It gets so wide off of him there. I don't understand. It's not the worst. Actually, it's pretty good. Like it, if you look, that's as close as I can get to the wall. Yeah, I'm not going to rotate. I'm just going to change the size of it. And then when you jump out, it'll go back to its normal size. Alright, well before we deal with the hitbox, let's at least rotate the player when we enter water. Okay. So on trigger enter, if it's player... Yeah, you can't rotate a character controller. I stared at it and realized, yeah, that's not even an option. We don't need this open, we don't need the chaser script, or the spawn collectible, or the wall clip. Okay. So this is rotation, this is rotation. Let's just delete this. Public void. What would we call this? What kind of rotation do we want to call this? Angle me. Sure. Hello, Philip. Is that supposed to be Philip Street? How you doing today? We're just going to debug.log. We called this. Okay, and then when we enter the water, player input toggle swimming. Was that a class? Look at that, we have toggle swimming. So we can just call this here then. What did I call it? Angle me. Angle me is swimming. And then we'll just make this take in a bool. Bool is swimming. Actually, I don't even think that needs to be a separate thing then. We can just put it all in the is swimming section. So I might want to actually just make this a separate script. Just so I can handle his rotation. I don't really like putting everything in one script because then it just gets astronomically long. So I could instead, on the mesh, because we're only rotating this, we can create the mesh rotator. Right? Project. When I create a script, I typically like to actually create the script here first in the right spot. So here it would be create C subscript lerp rotation. Okay. Now we're gonna just create a public void do lerp. We're going to say debug.log we got here. Okay. So then, whenever we call the is swimming, we're going to want to have a we need lerp rotation reference here. So, where's my swimming stuff? Wall, ground, can move. I don't know why ground, oh, ground interactions. Okay, we'll put it here then. Private lerp rotation. LR equals, oh no, not equals, gotta do down here. LR equals object mesh dot get component. Actually, there's a way to just do get component in children. We'll just get one of them. Well, we'll try it. Lerp rotation. It's actually interesting. If we did something like this, if you guys are curious, if you put an M in front of it, and you made this public, it won't show this M underscore in the inspector because of like Hungarian notation or whatever. So it tells you that it's all part of the same system. So we'll do that. M lerp rotation. Okay. So then when we enter water or we exit water, we're gonna want to give it a rotation. Toggle swim. If is swimming, just entered equals true. What is this for? Yeah, but what does this do? I don't think I used this ever. I'm gonna toggle this off for a second, just see if this changes anything. Enter delay. I've never actually used an invoke call. What was the point in that delay? That didn't seem to do anything. Oh wait, I think I know, right here. No, that just seems to be pointless code. So if I toggled all that off, I'm not going to delete it till I remember why I had it. Hello, hi, I'm Mr. Gay. How are you doing today? So instead what we're just going to do here is call m underscore lerp rot dot do lerp, and it's just gonna be like this. We're not gonna give it a value yet. I just wanted to say we got here when we enter the water. So did we ever get that message? We got here? Yeah. Do I have any ideas on creating an atmosphere? Focus on the silhouettes. Add depth of field. Make things move. Yeah, right on. Thank you for watching the streams. Support always helps. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now I noticed that this lerp rotation was happening twice. Bunch of times. Oh. Oh. But my enter delay, wait for it. If I did it here instead, this would, if I jumped in now, we got here. That's a huge delay of 2.5 seconds. It's not what I want. It did for a bit, I believe, and then they went back to mono develop, I think. I don't know why I have Visual Studios all of a sudden. Malachi, I haven't looked just yet. I'll check it out after the stream. Problem with my script here is that we're constantly entering and exiting water like this. So how am I going to do it? Okay. So my code, the way I've done it is that we constantly are entering and exiting the water, and I put a delay on my camera motion, but I put that delay over here, did I not? We don't need this. If is lerping. When do we call do move? I don't really know how this works so well. Nor do I know what this is doing. Okay, well I guess I can just call do lerp here and it won't be an issue. Because if it's lerping between like non-existent movements, it should be fine. So m underscore lerp. M underscore lerp rot. Do lerp. When we first enter the water, I'm going to want to lerp you to be not flat, but why am I not able to think right now? Oh, here is saying I should check out check out the script reference for Unity event. You have to add a listener and code that can be done in public Unity event variable inspector. I'll check it out after the stream, I suppose. I think you can send links in chat now, I'm not sure, but you should send me a link. Why can't I figure out anything right now? This variable's useless. I know that for a fact, I can delete that. Which makes me think that all of this is useless. Which makes me think that this is in fact useless. It's really dumb they don't let you post links. Okay. I want to say, once we've entered water... okay, you know what? Let's just create this more case specific. Public void, entered water. Okay. So this is where we're going to say we entered water. Then we're going to say public... Actually, this could be bool. In water. If false, means we left water. Okay. And then we're also going to have a public void why is this so hard for me to think of right now? Lerp angle or swim down. Bool is down. These are terrible names, I'll change them later, but if false means we swim up. Okay, so if in water, else. If is down, else. So this is going to happen every time we press space or we're going upwards through gravity. This is going to happen once we enter or exit water. Okay. So debug entered, debug exited, water. Debug swimming down. This is so case specific, I don't like it, but we'll figure it out later. Once I code something once, I can tweak it to be more useful for everything. We don't even need this do lerp anymore. Instead, it's going to be entered water. Okay. I don't know why this is a thing, just okay. Now, here we're going to say entered water is swimming. Cool. Then also on not in jumping, actually it isn't jumping. M dot lerp rotation dot go down, down, swim down. It's true. Angle the player downwards. I gotta start putting some more comments in here. What is a lerp? It's a linear something over time. I don't really know what what lerp stands for. What does lerp stand for? But essentially, it would take something. Local emergency response plan. Yeah, I'm sure. No. Oh, it literally just stands for linear interpolation. But isn't slurp a spherical interpretation? What does slurp stand for? Spherical linear interpretation. Oh, that's why there's still an L. I never understood the L. Okay. Basically, it makes it so an object will go from point A to point B over a set period of time. Just kind of handy. Okay, so here we're going to tell it to swim down. Then we need to figure out the going up part. When would that be? When is gravity taking the wheel here? Where's my gravity? Or if we're swimming. If we're not grounded or we're swimming. Okay, so if we're swimming, gravity force is this. So this is my exponential gravity. So let's just create a bool real quick. Private bool. Rotate player mesh equals false. We're going to want to set this to be true once we enter water. No, I don't know. Let's just call this a bazillion times, I suppose, for now. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to say if y is greater than 0, which means we are going up, right? We're no longer going down with the spacebar. Then we're going to say m.lerp rotation.swim down false. Rotate the player on an upward angle. So this is probably going to give us that false one a bazillion times. But when I enter, we get entered water. Okay, let's go down. These also need to be collapsed so I can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so I have swim up going. This is still saying swim up. Did I write swim up twice? If it's true, we're supposed to be doing swim down. Swim up happens a bazillion times. Swim down never happens. Swim down is true. If we're not swimming. Does this not make sense? We're doing it right here. You know what we could do actually? Put this all in gravity. Based on our gravity, we're going to give it a different rotation. Else, true. Rotate the player on a downward angle. Problem is, this is going to get called a bazillion times. And I don't really want that. Swim down. Is it? Okay. Fuck. Okay. Swim down, 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 down. Up, 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 up. Down, up, down. You see, I only need to call this one time, but instead I'm calling it like 900 million times. So what we could do, wait. Oh, I know what we could do. On click, we can have it so it swims down. And then after a period of time, we're going to tell it to lerp itself to go up. Right? So then we don't need to call this a bazillion friggin' times. I'll get to combat once we finish this swim, if we manage to finish the swim in time. I doubt it, because I'm only going to be streaming for another 40 minutes. So combat have to be next stream. Might as well change the name. Swimming stuff. 3D platformer. I should really give my streams better tags, so that way people can actually find my streams, eh? Because I don't think I have any tags set. Okay. So, if jumping. Let's just, I want to see when this is being called. Debug.log, we called this. Put a bunch of things. Alright. Yeah, we can close this now. Don't save. So we didn't call it here. Oh, right. We're calling it when I, because swimming down, swimming up is spacebar. Swimming down. Okay, I get it. So it's actually my mouse button. So it's fire 1. Swim down. True. Swim downwards. Override. Where's fire 1 called though? It's not jump. Get button. How do I only have get button jump? Oh, there it is right here. Okay, so if we're swimming, and we press this button, we want to say swim downwards. So m.lerpra.swim down true. Oh, and space was supposed to be false. Shit. Okay, so let's just comment this. This is going to tell us we want to angle ourselves. Is the character going to stay a tic-tac? No, it's going to change. It's going to be probably more realistic person. No, that's not true. It's going to be like a toon. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna press play ad. Time for ad roulette. Everybody, boom. I've never tried Unreal Engine. I just tried Unity and kind of just stuck with it. Okay, where is this? This is supposed to be false. Swim upwards. Override. Okay. So now instead, If I jump in, it says we entered the water. Space makes us swim down. Or sorry, space makes us swim up. Mouse click, swim down. Right? That'll override the animations, which is good. That's what I want. Now, wasn't I supposed to see something saying entered water and exit water? Entered water? Yeah, okay, so we did see that. Exit water. Okay, cool. So that got us to this, which now is basically telling us that we need to rotate our dude. Now, rotations are pretty simple. We can look up a Unity lerp. This is a lerp. You need to know where your start of your lerp is going to be, where the end is. Now these are transforms because this lerp is handling positions. Ours is going to actually be Euler angles or Euler angles, however you want to pronounce it. I'm actually going to how to pronounce Euler or Euler.
Euler.
Yeah, it is Euler.
Euler.
All right. We need a speed. We have to set a start time, so the start is going to happen every time we click something, so it's going to override. The journey length is just going to also override every time one of these things happen, and it's just going to determine the rotation that we're at to the rotation we want to set it to be. Floats on water coin. Yeah, so the way that I coded the random movement of this, where is it? Life up. The movement doesn't. It checks with a. Where is it here? Raycast. And if it's not a player, we just. Oh, that's the forward raycast. Where's the down? Here it is. If it didn't hit anything, then we don't do anything. So what we could do really quick, so it doesn't float. Or else, if hit.transform.tag is equal to water, we could say has gravity is true, but we're going to change the speed. Is it the speed? Oh, I hard-coded gravity. Okay, wait, let's make a private float gravity scale equals 5F. Oop. Minus gravity scale. We're going to set the gravity scale to equal 2.5F, so it goes slower, and we're going to set the speed to equal speed times by 0.5 F. So it'd be like this. So that should make it so this coin, I know it's a random change, let's just see. After it bounces off that wall, it's probably going to go into the water, right? I haven't read the concept, Malachi. So this should stop moving, just fall straight down. And it didn't. What's this water tagged as? Untagged? Liquid. You're not tagged as water, you're tagged as liquid. Why would I create a separate tag? I'm retarded. Okay, it's all good. We'll call it liquid. Okay, that's not going to work. We need to move the coin. There we go. That still didn't fall. Interesting. It should have been has gravity. If it's equal to null, it's not going to be null. And the tag is equal to liquid. Whatever. I don't really care. I don't mind if it floats on top of water. Actually, I'm going to have to change that in the future. I'll change it later, though. I want to finish this loop rotation. We'll make it so it falls in eventually. So this is lerping. Like I said, you need to know where you're going to start and end. You want a speed. You're going to want to reset these whenever you want to redo your lerp. So that way the start time of the lerp is brand new and that you recalculate how long the journey is. Then over your update, you're just going to say the amount that we've covered is the time minus our start time plus our speed. The length of the journey that we've traveled is our fraction of our journey, which is then this. You could, if you wanted, set this to be a curve, an animation curve, and you can really control it. Like really control how it moves. But anyways, let's get this in here. So we're gonna want public float turn speed equals 1.0f. Private float start time equals nothing. Private float journey length. Okay, so whenever we do one of these calls, we're going to say start time equals time dot time. I'll set the journey length in a second. I gotta sneeze. Alright, let me check out this thing that Malachi has mentioned several times. Just read his concept real quick. This is great. So I am doing a game similar to, not really similar, but it is a platformer game. I wouldn't use the traveling hat just because there is that Hat in Time game. And that's also a platformer. And it's a magical hat. You know, this game was announced way back in like 2013, and back then I thought these graphics looked great. And the more I see it, the more I just wish I was already out, so that it was playable, because it's looking more and more dated. But I'm sure these are old screens. I do love the look of it still, like the Toon look. It's basically Toon Link, like to a T. The character I actually plan on doing is very similar to this, a Toon Link styled character. Is that split screen I'm noticing? No. Yeah, I wish they would just release this game already. But my game's actually going to take place in the clouds, Mount Olympus. I'll tell you guys more about that later. I'm actually going to create another one here, void restart initialize loop lerp. Do I want to call override or new lerp? Because all of these are going to require time.time, like so. Then we're going to give it a float rotation, added rotation. Okay. So for this, I just downloaded Unity. Any tips on to get started? So yeah, the way I learned Unity was they have really good tutorials on their website. Start off on their website and practice their tutorials. Do all of them. Don't skip anything. Just do all of them. Direction. Okay. Float direction changer equals 1F. Now, if we enter the water, we're going to want to rotate downwards. Else, we're going to make it equal -1F. Okay. Modifier. Let's call it mod. Let's call it M. This is going to handle if this new lerp added rotation is going to be at positive or negative. And when we enter the water, we know we want it to be a 90-degree rotation. Actually, no, this needs to be fudge. I don't want to do this. I don't know why I'm derping so hard. Yeah, there's coding there and everything. Really good tutorials. Okay, so if we enter the water, we need to set our rotation, our local Euler rotation, if that's even a thing, of our mesh on the X to be 90. Right? That's just what we know. And we're going to want it to lerp that super fast. Actually, we're going to want to set this to be like here. So when you enter the water, it's... When you enter, it's going to go like that. And then it's going to lerp plus the going down. Whenever you're entering water, it's going to be in a downward rotation. So we might as well just have the player rotate to like this amount, right? So, why can't I figure this out? Guys, I'm getting nothing done today. 90 plus 30. 90 plus 45. Yeah, so that makes sense. It'd be 135. Let's just hard code this one and just see what happens. I gotta stop like try to picture my brain and just code it out and see what happens. That's the best way to go. So we're gonna want this void do lerp. Then we're gonna want a float end rotation. Okay. So then we're gonna call this here, and we're gonna say the end rotation on in water is 135. F. I know I moved it off the screen for a second. Then when we exit water, we're going to want it to be 0. So, do lerp 0f. Okay. Then when we swim down, we're going to want to set the do lerp to equal 135f. The swim up, see this is where it gets a little bit odd, because we're going to be doing this, else our character is going to be doing a 65-degree rotation? Sure. Do lerp 65f. Okay. So this is just going to constantly, all these are going to call this with a different value. Now here we're going to set our start time to equal time.time. Okay. Then we're going to want to get our journey length, which is just going to be... Oh. How do you get a journey... Okay, unity lerp rotation. From rotation to rotation. Okay. Oh, that's a way easier way to lerp. It just does it. Okay. So we can just then say, we don't even need journey length or start time or any of that shiz. I can do transform dot rotation. Wait, transform dot Euler angles, local Euler angles. Look at that. That's actually a thing. Equals new vector3 dot lerp. See, that's not a thing though. Quaternion.com. How do I want to do this? Quaternion.lerp. Unity lerp Euler rotation. That's what I want to do. Oh. No, that doesn't work. Okay, what we need, this is interesting. I can create a quaternion here, call it Q, and it's going to be quaternion.Euler. Returns rotation that rotates z degrees around the z-axis, x degrees around the x-axis. What's Euler angles? That's depreciated. 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 But this isn't. Okay. Whenever something's depreciated, basically just means it's not really supported anymore and they don't want you to do it like that. I'm not getting any progress here. Why is this so hard? So we want to get the Euler angle of that. So we're going to say our transform.rotation.x, transform.rotation.y, transform.rotation.z. And this one's actually going to be end rotation, right? So if I debugged this, debug.log, end rotation of plus end rotation with a quaternion of plus q. Is this a thing? Anybody know if this is going to work? Because I have no idea. End rotation of 135 with quaternion of 0.9, 0, 0, and 0.4. That is right, but it's interesting how on my upwards, we're not actually getting that call. That's fine. We'll deal with that afterwards. But that did work. So now we could just say, I think, transform.rotation equals quaternion.lerp. Oh, we should probably save our initial rotation. Initial Q equals quaternion equals transform dot rotation. Okay. The update. Whew. Okay, I gotta take a breather. Alright, so whenever you're lerping something, it needs to be done in the update section. So, we only want to lerp if we have something to lerp. So, we won't need these, luckily. But what we do need is a private bool is lerping equals false. Okay, and then whenever we call do lerp, we're going to say is lerping equals true. Then down here we're going to say if is lerping. We're going to handle the actual lerp section. Alright, we can delete this. We can take this out, put this here. We're going to lerp between our initial... Oh, those are private things, eh? Okay, let's just copy this for a second. Okay, like so. Initial Q, ending Q, and we need our speed. Okay. If we now need to check if we've actually reached our point. So if initial Q is equal to, or no, if transform.rotation is equal to ending Q, is lerping equals false. Es rota es Milo, Jose como, the rota, I don't know what rota is, and Milo, I think it's supposed to be Mio. I don't even know what language I'm reading. I feel like that's Spanish, probably Portuguese. Ho? See, if it says ho, that's definitely Portuguese, right? Yeah, the rat is mio, I know how. But if this was Portuguese, yeah, it was actually Spanish. Look at that. No, it was Portuguese. Oh well. Okay, so let's just see if this works. I don't know what's really gonna happen. We could have some errors before we even start. Oh, it's just our debug. We don't need the debug. Whoop. Oh my god. He rotated. But he only rotated once. Swimming down. I didn't give him the right angles, eh? Because he seems to have... Okay, wait. Now he's 45. Now he's 135. What the fuck? So when he jumps in the water, this weird rotation we gave him, it's not applying transform.local rotation. Let's try it like that. It was giving a weird rotation as if it had like wasn't a 0, 0, 0. See, it's doing it again. Can't I just say then like 0 and 0 here? Like, since we know we don't want to change those. Oh, it should be our transform.local rotation. Right? Oh, I hope if the stream's cut out for you guys, that means I have too many things on my Wi-Fi probably. Okay, let's try this now. Jump in the water. Jumps out of the water. Okay, yeah, so it's not really lerping though. It seems to just be instant fucking taneous, eh? Let me just see their lerp here. Oh, it's time.time times by speed, that's why. Times by time.time. And they give it a speed of 0.1 f. This also a speed of 0.1 f for now, and just see. Let